this weather, it feels more like the April meeting. But welcome to the February Town Board meeting of Town of Philipstown. Approval of minutes, reorganizational. Oh,
Special meeting of the Philipstown
oh,
Depot.
oh, God. What are we having these every month now? Oh, we're done. Goodbye, Claudio.
We're adding another member to the board. Unfortunately, we didn't do it until after last meeting when we added some other members. We didn't have we had the meeting the Saturday after the Thursday. So we have one more person. So if you call the meeting of the Depot Theater members.
Special meeting of the Philipstown Depot Theater to order. We have a quorum. What business have you, Mr. Marzullo?
Well, I would like to introduce to the board Mr. Jerry Singer.
Hello, Jerry.
Jerry is retired, I believe, last fall as the chief counsel of the Museum of Natural History in the city of New York.
Wow.
And he has agreed to join our board. The Depot Theater board nominated him unanimously. Jerry brings a very unique set of skills because the Museum of Natural History is a joint government private enterprise as well as the Depot Theater.
A little different scale.
Just a different scale. Yeah, he's going to.
Don't worry, they'll
can you
catch up
just
with us. They're
deal
going to catch
big
up with
money
us.
now.
Jerry, you're going to learn a lot in this job.
So, since Bob Bickford retired from the board a year and a half ago, we really lacked the kind of skills that Jerry would bring. And so I nominate Jerry Springer for the board.
All right. We have a nomination on the floor. Could I get a second?
I'll second that nomination.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Jerry, usually this happens when the person's not in the room. It's like a sentence, not a service. It's like you were confirmed in absentia. But thank you very much.
One correction on the name, there's no P in the last name, so it's Singer, not Springer.
Oh,
Did I
was
say Springer?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Jerry Springer. I know he's been retired.
I apologize. Jerry Singer,
Jerry Singer. Okay.
like what I'm not with my voice.
Yes. All right. If that's all the business for the
Motion to adjourn?
Depot Theater, yeah, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. I vote aye.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Jerry. Thank you very much. I'm going to go on to the minutes now. What do you say? All right. Reorganizational meeting of January 3rd, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye. Philipstown Depot Theater, Inc., annual meeting, January 3rd, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye. Committee reports, Conservation Board.
Okay, the Conservation Board met on January 8th. We dealt first with the, as an update for the timber harvest. This is what's occurring on the border of the northern end of town on Old Oldby Post North. Regards mostly timber harvesting in Fishkill, but it's going to be using our roads. But the short update is that Carl Frisenda, the highway superintendent, has completed all of the bid requirements, has passed them over to our attorney, Steve Gaba, and the applicant was advised. So that part was handled and taken care of. Moving on to the agenda, Robert Ashley, 3 Ethan Drive. This is a continuation. The update was, in this case, the applicant brought all the documents that were required of them to bring in and met the appropriate information. Quickly, the letter from Cortland allowing Philipstown Conservation Board to be the lead agency because the stream, it is another border property, but at the southern end of town. And this, the actual stream was in Cortland and the wetlands was in Philipstown. So it calls for coordination and you have to get the other town's permission. So we received that. Also, the Board of Health allowance for a rebuild because the previous one accidentally said addition and there was no house here. Just quickly, this house was taken down years ago, and obviously that correct information had to appear on there and now does. Also, because of the fact that this is a grandfathered property, anytime a septic is closer to wetlands than maybe is desired. However, there is a right to build. Often, a clay barrier is placed in between in order to protect the stream even more, and the wetlands even more so. So that also occurred. So that was a good case of the applicant getting all the information necessary. Moving on to Kristen Conley, this is Route 403. This is a referral from the planning board. This discussion regarding new single-family residence. The difficulty here, of course, was that the land did involve steep slopes, and also the wetlands inspector had to determine whether or not the small wetlands on the property would in fact qualify, and it does because it's adjacent to other wetlands. So that's something to always keep in mind, that it isn't just what's on a particular property, it also could be adjacent to it that may make that particular wetlands important as well. Such things which were agreed by the applicant was roof runoff diversion, swale creations for ground runoff. That one side was recommended by the Conservation Board, and the applicant also completed a swale, will complete a swale as well. The applicant also designed the house and septic for the maximum distance from the wetlands. Again, as I had mentioned prior, a clay barrier will also be installed. And the replanting of the area for wetlands will occur between the applicant and the wetlands inspector. So that went over well. Again, applicant working very well to take a property that had some challenges, at least on the conservation side, because this is a mainly planning board issue, and but resolve those issues. The other thing also is I'd like to recommend that under stormwater, that Max, our wetlands inspector, Max Garfinkel, be able to go to Albany in March 21st and 22nd, to be certified as a stormwater inspector. This is a program they offer up there, MS4. Illicit discharge, which is obviously the things we've dealt with, pollution prevention, stormwater permits, all this would be in there. The fee would be $824, I think. Reading from it, discussing it with him, and going over it, I strongly recommend that he be allowed to go. Okay, so,
No problem.
Good expenditure.
okay. And the board will meet on February 12th.
Thanks, Mike. Recreation.
The Recreation Commission did not meet in January due to a snowstorm. They're scheduled to meet on 2/26. Do you have any?
I met with Amber today just to look at the floor, and it looks beautiful, the gym floor. And they're just waiting for the logo to be put on the surface. And so there's been a lot of, happy kids playing basketball and other sports.
Not tripping over the
Not
bumps in the
tripping.
floor.
And then Monday is the start of spring registration for the spring programs for the rec center.
Nice. Beautiful. Thank you. Philipstown Communities That Care.
I attended the last meeting of the coalition, and Julia Sniffen, the principal of Haldane High School, gave a presentation on a survey, and she's going to share the results with the Board of Education before it's shared with the public. But the focus was on prevention, and there also was discussion of the Narcan training that is going on in the county, and also support services that the Cove and others provide within Putnam County there. And Danielle was also there and spoke about the need for mental aid funding, to seek funding that we might attempt to get funding from the state to support mental aid training and making that available in the community.
All right. Thank you. Planning Board.
Planning Board, how you plan it, attend the Planning Board meeting, January 17th. It's quite a big agenda. The first thing on the agenda in old business was SEJ Realty. I was reporting on them over the last several months. They already had a site plan approval back in March of 2018. They came to the Planning Board for additional outdoor storage. They're looking to increase outdoor storage in two areas. One area is about 212 square feet. The other area is about 600 square feet. Everything was been approved, and so the Planning Board approved the plan as designed. The next thing out of residence was the Lowry residence, 80 Erie Road on Garrison, which is right across from the Papa John's restaurant over there, up on the hill. I reported them, I think, last month as well. Anyway, they're seeking to the demolition of the house that's currently there today. It's like 5,300 square feet. To rebuild a new house in exact same footprint, but a little bit smaller, only 5,216 square feet. But anyway, so, and a new garage, of course. A public hearing was held in December. There was no public comments, and the board approved their application. Going on from there was 3 public hearings held. The first one was Taylor Forestry, 220 South Highland Road in Garrison. The applicant is seeking approval for a single-family residence of approximately 4,000 square feet with a detached garage for about 900 square feet. The property is located on 17 acres or so, and it's right across from the Garrison Fish and Fur Club down there in Garrison. The board voted it was classified as a minor project. A public hearing was held over from December, as there were steep slopes involved and a driveway concern. The driveway is very kind of steep, concerned about getting emergency vehicles up there as well. So that's a concern. There was only one citizen that had comments, and they were not in favor of this project. Last month, it was referred to the Conservation Board and the ZBA for possible variance that may be required. The planning board and Steve Gabb at the time wasn't 100% sure if a variance was required or not. That was the end of that. So the public hearing was closed, but they'll take written comment for the next 30 days. As Mike reported on the Christine Conley, Route 403 in Garrison as well, the applicant has been before the planning board several times already. Applicant is seeking a site plan approval for a single-family residence for approximately 1.5 acres with a private well and septic, as Mike indicated. The board classified it as a minor project and referred to the county planning as well as the conservation board, as Mike indicated, as there was wetlands and steep slopes involved. The county already approved the septic system. There was no public hearing comment, and the hearing was closed. The last public hearing was Gregory Rath, 28 Hudson Way, which is right off of Route 301, halfway up the hill there. Applicant is seeking a site plan approval for a partial demolition of an existing 7-bedroom residential structure. There's a chapel in this area. I think Johnny's familiar with the area, but there's a little bit of a chapel, I guess, in this existing house. They're proposing to replace the demolition of a portion of approximately 3,340 square feet in a 4-bedroom single floor, as the house today is a 2-story house, and extend the driveway to the detached garage. The planning board requested to see some materials and colors that are going to be used. The site has been approved by the County Board of Health and sent to the firehouse for their review as well. The public hearing was closed. Under new business, which I haven't reported on in several months now, which is the Hudson Highland Reserve, as the last few months I had not reported on because they were working on their environmental assessment form. The planning board and the AKRF, our consultant, deemed this to be incomplete at this particular time, so it's back to the drawing board. There's a lot of comments from the board. Every member had some comments. Those comments were going to be sent to them for the review within 10 days, so I think the 10 days is probably over by now. So they're back to the drawing board there. When the planning board deems the draft environmental impact statement is complete, and only then they'll have a public hearing will be scheduled. The meeting was adjourned at 9:25. The next meeting will be February 21st.
Thanks, Bob. Zoning.
I did not attend the zoning board meeting, but I did get a report from the clerk. The ZBA met on 1/4/14 very briefly to discuss the same applicant, Fraser Taylor property at 220 South Highland Road. The applicant is waiting for the decision from the planning board, but they did complete an application for the zoning board in case they do need an appeal, and they have a scheduled public hearing for March 11th. There will be no meeting in February due to the fact there's no agenda items. So they will not be meeting in February.
Highway.
Highway, I have the highway report. From Carl Frazenda, work performed by the Philipstown Highway Department for the month of January. High amounts of rainfall mean pipes and waterways are clogged with leaves, mud, dirt, etc. Early on in the month, the highway crew were out clearing pipes and waterways almost on a full-time basis. When temps turned to freezing, they switched gears to salting, sanding, and plowing. Additionally, the crews have been filling potholes and grading roads. One of the heavier rain downpours caused several dirt roads to wash out. It was necessary for the crews to repair the roads and driveways so all residents could get out. There have been many days of messy weather requiring overtime to get roads in passable conditions for emergency vehicles and school vehicles. First came Winter Storm Harper, whose snow accumulation hype was bigger than predicted. However, ice was the major component of the storm, followed by freezing temperatures. The crew did a terrific job staying on top of changing conditions excuse me, and worked tirelessly to get the job done. The most recent storm was more ice followed by the deep freeze. The trench paver with the 7-foot grading attachment was delivered this month. When attached to the Bobcat, the paver will permit us to pave 34 inches to 54-inch strips to patch roads. Why is that a 7-footer? I don't understand that. Doesn't make sense.
New math.
I guess. The grading attachment will allow us to use the Bobcat instead of using the grader to spot grade. Both pieces of equipment will benefit the highway department tremendously. A second piece of equipment budgeted for 2019 was picked up this month. A New Holland tractor with York rake and bucket will benefit the crews and be used to grade the roads. The highway department received approximately 35 phone calls or fax, and the highway department spent roughly $8,600 on vehicle maintenance. Carl Frazenda, highway superintendent.
Thank you. Building and land acquisition, we had a meeting with the highway superintendent today to talk about the highway building. We got some preliminary conceptual plans. We're going to get that out to either one or two people to firm that up and get together a bid spec. We are hoping to get going on the highway garage this summer. As far as this building, we're probably weeks away from
close to
releasing bid documents, so.
We're just waiting on a spec from Quest for the hazmat
Right,
remediation.
right.
And then once that's complete, the bid spec can go out.
That'll be it.
Yep.
So I mean, I would imagine in the next 2 weeks, we'll see
That's-
something.
Yeah, that's the last piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, so that, I mean, potentially I would imagine that, bid advertisement going out in March.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so, too.
Yep. Everybody does. No one more than the clerks. They had a chilly week last week.
It was 47.
It's 47 here. Yeah, if you're outside, that's not bad. All right. Putnam County Legislator. Hello, Nancy.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Judy? Good to see you. I want my job back.
Right now.
It's my seat. Hi, everybody. Thanks for allowing me to give you a update on what's happening in my first month on the Putnam County Legislature. It's been great, not what you think. I get a lot of looks around town about, oh my God, what are you up against? And it's not really like that. I don't feel like I'm one of, up against. It's been very welcoming. Everybody's been gracious. But it is challenging, and that's what I'm up against, is the work of it. So the vibe has been really great. Love working there. I've met with most of the departments and department heads. It's a real eye-opener to see the inner workings of everything that goes on there. I would actually like to go back to each department and, spend a day with, say, the Bureau of Emergency Services or the Commissioner on Mental Health. It's amazing the amount of work that's going on over there. The challenge is again, as you know, how to bring it over here. I did meet with the county executive, Marilyn Odell, and talked about Butterfield and got some updates about that. And Judy and I talk regularly about, what's going on there. I know she's attended the senior meetings there and went to lunch over there. And it seems to be filling up and well used. The county executive and I talked about the possibility of other programs being held over there. And I think she had the understanding that the mayor didn't want programs there. But after having met with the mayor, which I also did this week, it's not so much that's the case. There's a site plan there. There's an allowable use for the property. The property is kind of overextended with parking. It's a matter of trying to figure out how to make use of that property with the way it's set up for vehicle traffic, and it's not ideal. So if it's a matter of busing teens in, as we have to do with seniors, that all has to be looked at. But as I expressed to the county executive, we don't have to wait around for Butterfield to bring services over to Philipstown. We have plenty of space where we could do that elsewhere. So would love to get some ideas from you guys. I also last week attended the NISAC conference, the New York State Association of Towns conference. That was another eye-opener, a lot of focus on, what the state is doing, and it's sort of, a dismal outlook as to the state budget, and I know the cuts that we're going to face in towns. You guys know what's coming down the pike with that, with state aid. In that conference, I attended several committee meetings, Transportation Committee, also Health Committee, where we talked a lot about the drug crisis. And then I attended some workshops on the legalization of recreation, which is kind of weird to call it recreational marijuana. That was an eye-opener. In fact, one of the people on the panel that was brought in by the governor actually said it's great because marijuana is an exit drug to heroin. So I was quite astounded at this comment, and it's quite obvious that the state is going to move forward with this. It's just a matter of what are we going to have to do as a small municipality to deal with it. And I brought up issues like, well, Massachusetts was there on the panel. What have you done as far as the social host law, which we have for alcohol? If you're going to treat this like recreational use, are you going to help us develop these social host laws for marijuana? There's a lot that we're going to have to deal with, I think, and I'd love to sit down and talk to you about how to fold that into the moratorium on vape shops. We'll have to look at maybe a moratorium on dispensaries if you're interested. So those are some of the ideas. I really kind of want to use this as just a quick update as to what I've been doing. It's only a month, but to ask you to ask me questions. So if you guys have anything for me. One other really important thing, the Garrison post office issue has come to the surface again. It's always been there. And it's a big issue, and it's a problem. So
The noise, lights, or
the noise, the lights, the traffic, the garbage, the landscape,
fence.
everything. It's a
Yeah.
So I met with some residents on Grassy Lane. I've written to the post office. I will CC the congressman just to see if we can once again, after all these years, come together and have the same meeting, because none of those things in that original meeting were addressed. And if you could find your notes on that, I'd love to steal them. And
They basically just thumb their nose at us. They're
yeah,
a federal agency.
yeah.
We don't have any
So-
authority over them, anything. And we call them and ask them, yeah. There are
Well, I'd like to help,
There's
and
no response. Oh, yeah, we would
if
love
I
to
can-
help, but it's frustrating because they'll, we're gonna work together, and then it's,
yeah.
nothing happens.
So-
You talk about hours of operation, not having idling trucks out there at 4 o'clock in the morning, maybe getting some more thoughtful lighting.
Yeah, the residents came up with a punch list, 5 simple items for them to address. They seem to be amenable to that, but that was in July when they met.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to continue the conversation and set up a
Who's
meeting.
your contact with the post office?
Jerry, I have it written down, sorry.
Is he local?
He's regional Putnam Westchester manager, district manager. So I've talked to the local people, sure, ongoing.
Oh, we had a big meeting held in school 5 years ago, or
Yeah.
6 years ago.
I want to find the notes for those if possible. I asked Ann to look. So,
Right.
but again, if you guys have anything for me that you would like for me to bring over there, if you have any questions as to what's going on over there, please feel free. Anything.
I'm
that's-
curious, with the record sales tax collection, is there any opening for
Yeah.
revenue sharing?
That's not a conversation that we've had, but I'm happy to bring it up.
But it's just, it's so glaring when you're hitting
Yeah.
record overages, $5 million over.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about beyond what the county already allots. We understand they allot for community college and for covering taxes and things like that, but
This is a
but this is,
windfall.
as Rich says, this is above and beyond that.
But it's
Yeah.
millions of
We're talking
dollars every
back,
year.
you know?
I mean, over the last 5 years, we're in excess of $10 million in overage.
Well, one of the things that came to mind, and it was something I also worked on this week, I met with Danielle Pack-McCarthy from the coalition and our drug resource coordinator, and I just can't believe the amount of work she's doing and what she's opened up, and the understanding that we both have that one issue is local, and it's so local that, despite the fact that there may be resources out there very far away, albeit, but we need to find a way. That was one of the other things I attended at the NISAC conference, was the shared service update, and coming down the pike with again, we have to do this every year. Maybe we can get something useful out of this year's because, and maybe that's something I'd like to see, maybe share some of that service because it's proven to be a great service that we're offering, that we just, created on our own, the town of Philipstown. Thank you very much. And, maybe we can see something in that regard. We share the senior resource worker, Ed Cleary is shared between us and the county, so between the county and us. I don't know who I am at this point.
Hard to rationalize at this point when there's that much money not returning some of it to the municipalities that are generating it. It's just, I don't,
Well, I think what I understand is you would like to see it in a dollar sum, in a check.
Or maybe in a program.
Services, a program.
Services, like the mental aid training.
But where is that money going? That's $5 million of money that came from the towns.
Mm-hmm.
So I never hear where it goes. Where's the overage go? Millions and millions of dollars every year go somewhere.
I think, what I would like to do, and I get to do a legislative report, at our monthly meetings, which was Tuesday, and I'll certainly bring that up as one of the issues and maybe, do some inquiry and try to find out exactly what's happened to it in the past.
Because it's $5 million of windfall that's unallocated, but it does have to be accounted for. We'd love to know where, figure out where our money's going.
Mm-hmm.
So I know the other townships would too. I mean, in the supervisors' meetings, this is, the number one concern is why can't we get a percentage of that money back? So I know you know all about this, but I'm raising it
but
publicly.
it's important for me to know that that's a priority for you, and that's what I'd like to
Right
bring
now,
over there.
When I see those kind of numbers, it certainly is.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
that's $5 million is, approaching our entire tax levy.
Yeah.
That's
So
it's not pocket change.
please feel free to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Obviously, last Saturday, Judy, you, myself, attended Sandy Galeff's meeting.
figured you-
And
yeah.
the biggest thing, obviously, that Sandy was looking for, which I know Rich can chime in with this, is the 2% cap is coming up for renewal. And Sandy, after we made comments so that she understood that we're not really happy with the current setup, or at least I wasn't, you were, and I don't think Rich is either, and maybe none of the board is here, but that we need some changes. For small towns, it's really not a practical program. As Rich has said a number of times, it works off less than 2% most of the time. It's only inflation, which is less than 1%. And we're already in the hole every year.
0.6 this year.
Yeah, so we're already in the hole 4 or 5% every year. So it's at least it seemed like she was listening to that. And if the county can also say that, then I just think, the more people say that, maybe the governor will adjust it some for us.
So I think I'm happy to start a letter writing resolution offering campaign. And if you'd like to do the same, maybe pass a resolution to send up to us, to send up to the state, for you to send to the state, and we'll all do the same one. I'll look for, maybe there's one with the Association of Counties that they've already developed. Maybe the Association of Towns has one that we can send to the governor right now and just, keep at it.
Because we're going to lose some more funding
Yeah.
that we've had. So
Yeah.
now we have less money. So we really need some
Yeah,
assistance on this area.
they'll cut.
Yeah.
And a big issue was the unfunded mandates, of
Right.
course.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm here. Thank you. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
the time.
I have one thing.
Sure.
E-waste. I called those people down in New Jersey. They finally called me back yesterday, but we really no information on what's going on with it. That container's still over there. It's full.
E-waste.
They still want to come pick it up. And
They're calling you to pick it up?
no.
They're not.
I've been,
Oh.
early in January, I made some phone calls down here. They never returned my phone call. So I called them again, and I'm not getting anywhere with anybody regarding the
You're-
container.
the
Our
con-
container that we have.
Right, and I understand. The container is not owned by Vintage Tech. Vintage Tech pays rent on the container to this company that you're talking to, Phil. Was that who
It
it
was
was?
Crystal, her name was.
Okay.
Anyway, they want to pick the thing up, but obviously they can't pick it up
Yeah.
when it's full.
And we were trying to take care of that ourselves. The town was going to, we talked to Vintage Tech, and I got a price for what, the cost was per year for taking over that, and it got put on hold because the county is working on a shared service agreement that will possibly be ready by April. In the meantime, Vintage Tech has been reaching out to me just because I was handling it for the town, trying to determine what is in the container, how big is it, how many pallets are in there. So I've given all that information to them, and with the county attorney and the county manager of solid waste management, Jane Munier, they're working together on dealing with Vintage Tech on their own without the town, which I'm fine with. It's just, we're still, I thought we were going to have to cover the cost for removing that container. And I think we were getting prepared to do that. So that's on hold. Hopefully we're not going to have to do that, and whatever.
Be pretty expensive because that container's full.
Yeah. And
All
we're
right.
not taking, we're not taking e-waste right now.
Understood.
No, we can't, yeah.
Yeah, it's up on the.
All right, thank you. I want to recognize Sheriff Langley here in the audience. Sheriff, did you have a comment?
You were wondering where some of the money goes.
Microphone.
You want to know where some of the money goes from the tax base for sales tax. Look in all your schools, the SROs. 50% of that is paid for by the county. That's where some of that money is going, to protect the students in the schools and the staff in the schools.
Yeah, I understand it. We appreciate that, believe me, Sheriff. But when they have an overage, that's been budgeted for. We're talking about things that aren't budgeted for, that aren't expenditures, that are just $5 million windfall.
Well, your question was you wanted to know where the money's going. I'm giving you an example of where the money's going.
Well, that's where tax.
That's all I'm giving you
No,
an
that's where
example,
tax money
where the
goes.
sales tax
I
money.
understand that. Sales tax money goes to that. It's allotted for that. There's a budget, just like every town prepares every year. They prepare a budget. They put in, we're gonna do 50-50 on the SRO or whatever it is. But that's already accounted for. This money's unallocated and unaccounted for. So the rest of the budget, that's the budget. If you want to know where the money goes, you can look in the budget.
Well,
But the money that's unallocated and unaccounted for, we never get a report where that goes, that $5 million.
Well, that's not the way you structured the question before. You wanted to know where some of the money is going. You don't have
Oh,
no idea where
not-
the money was
I'm
going.
talking about
That was
overage
my
and-
understanding.
overage
You
and
didn't say
sales
the
tax.
overage.
Yeah.
Where is the overage going?
Yes.
You just wanted to know where the sales tax revenue was
No,
going.
no.
So
We
I'm
understand
giving
that
you an
that
answer.
sales tax is a revenue line item in the county budget. But as far as the overage goes, it should be accounted for. It should be, there should be an explanation to the townships that generate that money as to where that, that excess capital, that excess revenue is going. So,
Okay.
but I absolutely appreciate the SRO at the school. No one is questioning anything like that. And those are valuable services. So, Cemetery Committee.
Okay, Cemetery Committee met on May 8th. We had a request, like we get at times, from a person asking for any history at all at a particular cemetery regarding a family. It's very difficult to go back because we're dealing with going back quite a bit of time. We do have some very good researchers. I've been myself trying to look up things, so that's kind of where we've been going. Obviously, in the winter months, we can't do a lot of physical work, so the committees have spent much more time dealing with research, so that's accounted for our time. And as soon as the spring comes again, we will resume the grave cleaning. We have started to do individual cleanings of certain graves, especially the ones with inscriptions, so that we can try to get some more information, because as we've said in other previous meetings, we will hopefully either host maybe the first one or the second one for the county, where they will actually have a tour of the cemeteries, and the more information we have, the better the tour will be. So we will continue working with that, and we're going to meet on February 12th.
Thanks, Mike. With the agenda, with the board's permission, I'd like to recognize Tim Donovan first, if we could. He has a short request for the board. Is that okay, Tina?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
I would like to compliment you on your taste of chairs. Sat in these for years and am much more comfortable now. I could see why people will come here much
Next
more
step are
frequently.
recliners. This is one of the biggest sleep aids known to man.
Perfect. Well, I'll add to that right now. A few weeks ago, I drafted a note and sent it to the board, and I just wanted some feedback on it. The idea is at 403 and Route 9D, there's some land that the town owns, and I'd like to request a meeting, a workshop, to discuss the viability of perhaps putting a feasibility study together for it to become, for any length of time, a small plot community farming cooperative, so that people from different groups, different ages, can go and create gardens there, not only for vegetables, but also for one person in particular that we just lost recently was a world-class horticulturalist, and I'd love to have a perennial garden there so people could actually learn how to do that. And I think that might go some distance to bringing various people together in a non-confrontational way, so that they might be able, right, so we might be actually able to
Tomatoes are better than
work together. I would not recommend that we grow something that is in the papers today and that people are discussing about legalizing.
No.
Okay, so
No, we
could
are
we
not
put that
going
sign up and we do have a working title for it would be, the idea is called Common Ground Gardens, so that it would be community oriented. And I was wondering if I could have a workshop
Absolutely.
to discuss that.
Love to. Can we set that, well, I mean, we could set a date now. Do you want, next week we're booked, because we have executive session. You want to do the following Wednesday?
Would you be prepared then?
Sure.
2 weeks from yesterday?
Well, I wouldn't have all of the answers.
No.
I understand the
We're
framework.
gonna sit down and have a workshop and
Yeah,
discuss things.
kick the idea around.
Yeah, see, you know, and you can bring somebody else, if other
Next
members
Wednesday, or two,
that you'd
the
like to
following Wednesday,
bring,
what's the
bring
date on
them.
that? 20th.
20th.
So Wednesday the 20th at 7:30 here?
Ideal.
All right.
Thanks.
Tim, great idea. I mean, I love it.
Thanks so much. Look forward to it.
All right, thank you.
Take care, and thanks for moving me up on the schedule.
Yeah,
No problem.
all right. On to the agenda.
The first item on the agenda is a resolution scheduling a public hearing upon the enactment of a local law establishing a 6-month moratorium on the submission and processing of applications for land use approvals for vape shops within the town of Philipstown. Actually, we have to start at square one. So we have to refer this to the county, and that's the resolution we would need.
So we can
Refer it
refer the current law.
to the county.
All right,
And then once we get their reply, we can schedule a public hearing.
all right. Great, yeah. So if I get a motion referring the vape shop moratorium to the vape shop moratorium law to the county?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Thank you.
Okay, the next item is a resolution to suspend further development to both Upland Drive, Upland Court, and Cliffside Drive in order to perform an area impact study. I spoke with Steve a few weeks ago, and he was unclear as to what he was supposed to do, so I don't really have anything. I haven't received anything from him.
Well, I have no issue passing this resolution. I'm not sure that the force that this will have. We would have to enact a local law to put a moratorium on development on those roads, but, this sends a message that this is coming, and I can speak to Steve tomorrow and say, look, we need to just prepare a moratorium for Upland and Cliffside.
Meantime, if somebody came in for a building permit, whether there's any buildable lots, they would be rejected, or they would
We'd
be-
reject them, yep,
They'd be in limbo, oh, they would be rejected.
yep. Then they can challenge
Is
it.
there anything going on there right now? Anything current? going
Well, if
on?
it's current, it's,
Understood. I was
yeah,
curious
there
if
was, there is
anything.
one parcel that's being looked at. I'm not sure what they've applied
Whether
for,
they apply for a building.
or whether, how far they are along the application. If they don't have a permit, or if they're
That's what
not
I mean.
approved,
This would be referred, this would be.
yeah, if you don't have
right,
approvals, you're gonna be
Right.
out,
Right, that's what I want to make sure.
so, but I'll speak to Steve, so with the caveat that we're gonna have to pass local law, but I would, Accept a motion on a resolution to suspend further development on both Upland Drive, Upland Court, and Cliffside Drive in order to perform an area impact study.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
So,
Who's gonna
Greg,
perform?
should we contact Greg as well and let him know?
Yeah.
I mean, we should, and what if it's an existing building and you're adding, I mean, there's a lot of variables here.
Well, you have to define the moratorium.
Right.
You know, are you defining new construction, are you
Right.
defining, you know, there's gonna have to be a threshold. If somebody already has a lot there and they have Board of Health approval for something, maybe we wanna consider, but we could talk about this tonight, we also meet with Tim,
Okay.
so.
Okay. Who's gonna do the impact study?
You know, it's something that could be partially done in-house. We'd have to have Max go up there and take a look. A lot of this will be driven.
Be able, I have some comments and things I've observed going on.
Yeah,
as
and
well.
also what the capacity of the road is. I mean, it's already an issue, as we have heard.
Yes.
We don't want to exacerbate the problem.
Yeah.
So we certainly do have, you know, a good rationale. We could upzone it so that.
Yeah, I just don't personally think there's anything as bad in this town as that.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's why it needs to have this special recognition.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
way you could meet current standards up there.
Yep.
No, and you're gonna have, you know, no matter what you do there, it's gonna cause somebody downhill problems.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you're right. All right, we'll get on that.
Okay, the next item is a discussion with regard to purchasing new camera equipment for the audio taping of various board meetings.
Could I get a motion to table that? Did you hear me, Celia? You hear me? We do need new equipment, and we are gonna have a new room here, so we should be thinking about some new equipment. We have compatibility issues with the current setup and the television. I don't know, are we streaming live tonight? We're not live. All of Philipstown is missing this. So there is a lot of hue and cry for the board. I know that, very important. But we do have a proposal for new equipment. I know the board has had a chance to look at that. I would be fully in favor of, you know, going ahead with what we need. There's two proposals. I know one is less than the other, but this is something, I think if we're gonna, you know, upgrade this building, it is time to upgrade our audio and video equipment. So I don't know if the board has any commentary on this?
I just have one question, whether the equipment, I guess you're the one answering, Seal. Is the equipment gonna be compatible with the new setup?
What is the new setup?
I mean, with no, because we have conduits and stuff in the plans for signal front to back, and I'm just want to make sure that it would be, and maybe we should speak with Heather or Justin and just confirm that whatever, I mean, I'm all in favor of purchasing it, just as long as it's going to work with the new design.
Right, well, I never gave you the audio, thing, so you're gonna be getting a new, hopefully, a audio board and 8 or 10 new microphones.
Okay,
So it will be compatible to the camera.
okay.
And that was included on the invoice, the
microphone.
additional microphones.
Yeah,
Oh, that's not included, that's
I was waiting
additional.
because I know you wanted to redo the room, so I wanted to work with your people over there about getting
Okay.
nice.
Okay,
This is just on video, this will allow you to stream live. If you get a laptop, you can go live on the website, on your town page.
Wow,
okay. So
this is futuristic.
Crazy.
Well, or we could get a sketch artist.
Somebody wants to talk.
Yeah.
The county's gonna help with this?
Thanks.
This is
I
amazing.
believe that there was some opportunity to get reimbursed from Cablevision for some equipment in the form of grant opportunities with Cablevision when we signed the last contract with them.
They were gonna supply some things for seniors, that was
Well-
all I heard.
But I want to, maybe we can look at that
We can look
again,
at it, yeah.
because I think there is grant opportunities. I don't think it was just for seniors.
No,
It's
all
equip-
the people I used to call are gone. They fired everybody.
Right. Yeah. And do you want me to help, or let me know?
We always want
We're
to.
always up for
Okay.
help.
Do we have an overall plan for audiovisual for the new room?
we didn't, we put in, like I said,
I'm
we
putting
put,
conduits, and
put
I don't
conduits
understand
together,
that, but
but the-
maybe, should we maybe talk to a consultant or something and come up with an
we're
overall
waiting to
plan?
see how the funding was at the end of the project, whether we'd be able to afford anything. I mean, that was the
But I also
result.
think in the interim, we're still gonna have to
Keep
keep
this-
recording
Yeah.
meetings, we're still gonna have to broadcast the meetings.
Understood.
Yeah,
Just-
we're not-
I just didn't-
We're not looking to like add a huge expense here right now. I mean, $4,600.
Yeah, I know 4,600 isn't a lot of money.
It would be,
I just was curiosity.
No, we have-
But, you know,
there's been allowances made, but we haven't,
we don't know.
yeah, we haven't, taken on the services of an audiovisual consultant.
There is some, I mean, there's a drop-down screen.
Yeah.
Behind,
That was all given to you a while back.
Yeah.
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 When you first asked for it, it was months
for,
ago.
for presentations, there'd be a screen back here, but whether, it'll be in the budget or not is another story.
Well, if the screen's there, is it people gonna be sitting up here, gonna be blocking it? I mean, that's
No,
gonna be
it's up high, so if like, typical Glenn Watson putting on
wanna give a
Yeah,
presentation.
presentation,
it'll be
understood.
up here on the screen.
Plus,
that
if you're
would
giving a
work.
presentation, we'd go out in the audience and
Right.
get the presentation,
And it would
like regular people.
work with a laptop. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
whatever
Yeah, you could
equipment
have
we
a-
got
like a
would
smart
be
board.
high quality,
Yeah,
smart.
you could just a
right.
USB input on a screen and plug the laptop in.
It'll probably be wireless by the time we get this done.
Yeah.
I don't know, I haven't seen those yet, but I'm sure they can do it.
Cecilia, I mean, we would also rely on your recommendation. I mean, we need some equipment, is my understanding. Am I off base with that? No. So I think for the investment, for the time being, we haven't even started the building project. We're still gonna have to tape meetings regardless of where we are for the next, even when we get started, for a year. So, if everybody wants to take a final look, maybe we move on this.
I have no problem. as
Yeah,
long
I
as-
have no problem with it, I
Yeah,
just
let's go.
wanna bring up the.
No, yeah, Bob, I mean, it's a great point.
Let's get Celia her Christmas present.
I just think upgrading to 4K is important with the upgrades in technology
Yeah,
that
everything's
everyone
going
has.
4K.
Right,
Right.
everything's going 4K.
So, Mike?
I think it's good, yeah.
And, this isn't just for our meetings either.
Right, this is for,
It's for the meetings where, the lesser meetings of, not the town board, but the superstars. Things are,
they don't need
How
that.
will we look with 4K?
You'd be a lot clearer.
I don't
That
think,
might
maybe
not
that's
be
not so
good.
good. Maybe we want to go back to 0K. So we want to go to special K. All right. Can I get a motion approving the purchase of new recording equipment for town meetings?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye. So we have $4,618.93, and we have made Cecilia's evening, so that alone is worth it.
Just, the school's getting the same equipment, so.
Synced in?
We could've just borrowed theirs.
It's just borrowed.
They do.
Yeah, we should.
We do.
Cage match meeting. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The next item, Nat Prentice, Coordinator of the Comprehensive Plan Update Committee, to request that the town support a Greenway grant application to provide funding for a planning consultant.
Hello, Nat Prentice, how are you?
Just fine. Good evening, everybody. For the record, I'm Nat Prentice, and I've come to you as coordinator of the Comprehensive Plan Update Committee. As you'll recall, this is a group of volunteers that without any financial resources, has spent a year producing a first draft of a very, very raw update to the comprehensive plan, and it's now the point has come where we think we actually need some money and help to professionalize this product and produce a really professional document that you can use for the next, or that everybody in town can use for the next 10, 15 years. So we'd like to convince you to help us apply for, in fact, the town of Philipstown would be the applicant. I do have a couple of co-applicants and a number of letters of support, but we're hopeful that you would help us apply for a Greenway Compact Grant. It's a little different than a Greenway Community Grant in that if you're a compact community the way Philipstown is, then you can go for larger amounts. So it's our hope that we could apply for $15,000 that would fund a project that would last up to 18 months It would be used to hire a consultant to finish the job of updating the plan, which would include taking all the feedback that we've received so far and putting that in good order. But it's our feeling that we just need some help getting it done. We think that 15,000 will do the job. We have prepared the application, which I've reviewed with Tina, and we've been fortunate to have Bob Flaherty and Mike Leonard with us as we've gone through this process. The next deadline for submission of the application is tomorrow, February the 8th, and we have the villages of Cold Spring and Nelsonville have agreed to be co-applicants for this grant. The update itself is written very much in part to provide a kind of a regional planning vision as opposed to just one town. We want the villages to be involved. We've got letters of support from Congressman Maloney, from State Assemblywoman Galef, from County Legislator Montgomery. We hope to get a letter from the Land Trust and from the Putnam County Business Council, and we're ready to go, hoping that you all would support us in this effort.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. We certainly would, gladly. So we have a resolution prepared. Is the board ready to move on the resolution?
Yes.
All right. Could I get a motion on the resolution in support of applying for a Hudson River Valley Greenway grant for the comprehensive plan update?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
We got all for everybody's all for it. All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
Wonderful. Tina, there's also there's a place where Richard needs to sign,
It's
right?
all done.
It's all done. You
It's
guys are
ready for
awesome.
Dad to sign.
Well, I'll take it with me, or do you want me to stop by tomorrow and pick it up?
It's the last page. You have
It's the
to
last
do.
page. Nat, I'm going to do it right now.
Oh, my gosh. It's
And
too
that,
good.
I just had one minor
ceremonial
comment. Can I
signing.
just?
Sure.
Keep going.
Thank you, yes,
Oh, you're
thanks.
gonna do them all?
No, don't hold that up. What's
I
the-
read Judy's comment.
Oh,
I think it's
this?
fine, so.
Okay.
Way
No.
to go, Judy. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
your
You're
help.
welcome. Sure.
It's not done until it's done, which is tomorrow.
That's the certification
Oh, there
for
it is,
you.
yeah.
Thank you, Nat, for continuing to keep this program moving forward.
It's a lot of work.
It is an awful lot of work on him, and he's
Yes.
done an awful lot to keep
A lot
it
of
going.
work, a lot of time.
And this is second round at it.
Pass this to the clerk.
Yeah, that's right.
When we start this, back in March?
Well, this, of course, the plan goes back to 2006,
No,
and this was started essentially January of
Yeah,
18. So
January.
we're a
It's been a
year, we're a year plus into it.
Yeah.
It's an ambitious timeline, I think.
There you go, Nat.
April
Tomorrow.
1.
Well, you know what? Well, the applications are all done. The bringing on of the consultant, I think this group of volunteers actually done quite a lot of work. My sense is, and meantime, the plan itself is pretty good. It doesn't have any of the social issues that we're now all very concerned about, nor does it have any real teeth as it has to do with sustainability and adaptability and climate-smart communities and that kind of thing, nor does it have a lot to do with some of the health issues that. But I don't think it's. I mean, this is not a rewrite. This is an update. I think we'll be fine. And if the goal here is to get it done as we set out to get it done by the year 2020, which I'm hopeful we will. Although I just forgot how long the process. Once we get you the document, how long the formal process, New York State town law process of I mean, is that another year? I don't know.
I don't think so.
And it's only an update, it's not a new.
Yeah.
document, so-
Well, this is terrific. Thank you both. I appreciate it. We'll
Thank you, Nat.
keep you
Thank you.
posted.
Yes, please do.
Okay, bye.
Okay, the next item is a resolution to reappoint the following to the Philipstown Planning Board for a 4-year term. Kim Connor, whose term would expire March 31st, 2023. David Hardy, whose term would expire March 31st, 2023.
I can't thank, all members of all boards in town enough. So it's a blanket thank you, but Kim Connor's here in the audience tonight, so thank you personally, Kim. And David Harder, also a great member. We have a terrific planning board and, a really hardworking board that takes on, if you heard Bob's report earlier, really serious work for the town. I mean, land use is sort of paramount in this community, something everyone thinks about. So thank you again. And with that, could I get a motion appointing Kim Connor to another 4-year term?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Could I get a motion putting David Hardy on for another 4-year term?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Our thanks to both of you and to the entire board.
Okay, the next, resolutions to reappoint the following to the Philipstown Conservation Board for a 2-year term. Lou Kingsley, whose term will expire March 3rd, 2021. Jan Baker, whose term will expire March 3rd, 2021. And M.J. Martin, whose term will expire March 3rd, 2021.
Again, it's really encouraging and gratifying when you have such qualified people keep coming back year after year to offer service to the town. It's impressive, and again, a terrific board, the Conservation Board, again, as supporting both planning and zoning.
Definitely. They have a great deal of technical knowledge and add tremendous value to any reports they submit.
And I think we have to call it Dynamite Lou Kingsley, right? So I'm going to do all three. If I could get a motion reappointing Lou Kingsley, Jan Baker, and M.J. Martin to 2-year terms expiring March 3rd, 2021. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Thank you.
Okay, the next is a resolution authorizing Supervisor Shea to sign the agreement between the Town of Philipstown and the Putnam Humane Society for fiscal year 2019.
Something we do every year for Humane Society services, for strays, for all the animals we have in town, and for places. So Bob Ferris can take stray cats, dogs, horses, goats, all the things he picks up, ride shotgun in his car. So I get a motion on the resolution authorizing this agreement for Putnam Humane Society services.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Thank you.
Okay, the next is a resolution authorizing Supervisor Shea to sign the agreement between the Town of Philipstown and the Putnam County Office for Senior Resources for fiscal year 2019.
Again, something we do every year. We gladly support seniors through this office. So if I could get a motion on the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Thank you.
And the next item is a resolution increasing Robert Leonard's salary from $9 per hour to $12 per hour.
So moved.
Bobby needed a.
Well, Bobby, you can't say no.
He's been here 12 years.
You can't say no.
No.
No, he's a good kid.
Can we do
Yeah.
that nunk-pro-tunk?
Sure.
Yes. So authorizing an increase in Robert Leonard's salary from $9 to $12, nunc pro tunc. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Bobby, even though you're a Yankee fan,
Oh, God.
But he has a great last name, so
Oh, yeah.
not related. That's why I didn't want to move on the motion.
no, Mike couldn't. It's conflict of
Sounds
interest.
like a interest there. Probably getting $1 an hour.
Yeah, Mike's getting $1 an hour.
That's for a raise.
He prays for the Yankees.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No, he's, so he wears.
Okay, the next item is Code Enforcement Monthly Report. For the town, the fees collected $29,356.65. Total number of permits issued 27. 2 additions, alterations, or repairs to residential buildings. 25 all other permits, pools, sheds, decks, plumbing, HVAC, etc. 25 COs issued, 1 stop work order, 2 inspections of public assembly, and 1 inspection of commercial occupancies.
All right. Our thanks to Greg Wunner. He's really just done a bang-up job. The whole building department, really. I've heard nothing but positive commentary about the building department, so thank you.
Okay, and the report for the Village of Cold Spring. Fees collected, 1,802. 9 permits issued. 4 alterations additions or repairs to residential buildings, 5 additions, alterations, or repair to commercial buildings, 2 all other permits, pools, sheds, decks, plumbing, HVAC. I think this is 5 COs COs issued, and 1 stop work order.
All right, again, same person, since we did combine building departments with the village, and, we said it a lot, but it's just worked out, better than we could have imagined. It's just a stellar result. So, again, thanks to Greg, and thanks for everybody who worked on that. We have 2 workshops scheduled, so I think we're good for now. We're meeting next Wednesday. We'll be going into executive session to discuss litigation. That'll be jointly with the Village of Nelsonville, and then the following Wednesday with Tim Donovan to discuss the possibility of a town garden at the property that we now own down under Castle Rock. Anything else from the board?
I have the Butterfield Library report. Do you want me to
Judy, come on, bring
read
it
that?
on.
Sure. The February 2019 Julia Butterfield Memorial Library report reminds Philipstown that the library is a passport acceptance facility, so to make an appointment, please visit butterfieldlibrary.org. The library's annual report to the community is available now on the library's website. The library has replaced the damaged book drop in the parking lot of the library, so if you need to drop books, it's now been replaced. The library has purchased 22 new adult chairs for the upstairs of the library, and they should arrive this month. The library is putting together life skills classes for all ages. If you have a skill that you would like to volunteer to share with others, please contact the library. And if you have any questions or concerns, please contact Jillian Thorpe at jbldirector@gmail.com or 845-265-3040.
Thank you, Judy. All right.
I met with the solar company again down at the rec center about a week and a half or so ago. We had an electrician here with them this time, so I think this was their last visit that they need to. They're gonna put another proposal in front of us because the other one expired, and also too that
The
that
incentives
company,
are dropping.
in that company that we had no longer does the financing. So they should have another proposal to us hopefully next month. Like I said, I got the bill switched over. I had a little issue there, almost didn't get paid, but we got that taken care of. So anyway, I stressed to them enough that I wanted to hopefully speed their first project slate. Hopefully they get started in May is what we're looking to do.
Wow, that'd be great. Great, thank you, Bob. Thanks for your continued effort on that.
I did have one item. There was a near miss again at the Garrison Crossing Guard. I guess somebody, not that I would think it's a resident of the town, but please be cautious driving through there. Went through the red light, nearly hit a bus that was coming out. So I contacted the sheriff. I guess they're going to up the patrol again to try to get people to slow down on 9D near the Garrison School, especially at drop-off and pickup of the students. So
It's not that hard. School bus is pretty easy to see, too.
yeah, and a red light.
They're big, they're
Flashing.
bright.
Yeah, they're yellow. Yeah.
They call that National School Bus Chrome. It's hard to miss, yeah, unless you're texting.
So I contacted Sheriff Langley. He contacted Lillian directly, so they're working out a
It's
plan.
crazy. And that's, it's a cautionary tale. 1 second can change not only your life, but a lot of other people's lives. So you don't want to be that person. So, anything from the audience?
Liz?
Oh, well, Kim's going to come up and then I'll.
Kim Connor.
Kim
I
Connor.
just want to say thanks for reappointing me.
Oh, well, you're welcome. Thank you for stepping up.
Thanks for taking it.
Yes, Liz.
On the vaping moratorium, I know you guys passed that last summer, last fall, so this would be another 6-month moratorium. Are you gonna draft a permanent law then? or-
We will. Yeah, it'll be targeted law. You can't completely discriminate against anything like that. Not vaping, not pornographic shops, nothing that's legal. So what you want to do is limit the area in which they're allowed by zoning. So
Okay. And the second thing on the Upland Drive resolution, was there a text with that resolution? I didn't see it in the backup materials, but,
a text.
yeah, saying, that the board resolves. that
Just
we're gonna do this.
Mike sent me a You sent
Yeah.
me the request.
Right.
That was all, to put it on the agenda.
You guys passed, you approved this, but
To suspend further development to both Upland Drive, Upland Court, Cliffside Drive in order to perform an area impact study. That's the
the entire text.
that's the resolution, yes. But to be followed by a formal law.
Can I just add something on the vaping, since it was raised again? A study came out in December regarding high school usage of vaping, and a survey, national survey by the National Institute on Drug Abuse was done, and they've seen among 8th, 10th, and 12th graders a spike in the rise of nicotine vaping, the largest spike for any substance recorded in 44 years. And they believe 21% of all high school seniors are vaping.
But
So it is-
they're not marketing it to children, Judy, not at all. When, cherry flavored vape, that's what the big guys go for. It's sick. Something has to happen at the federal level. It's like, this just goes to show you the power of a lobby. And somewhere in Washington, somebody is lobbying someone to keep this legal. It's horrible. I mean, it's just disgusting, so. Whatever we can do here, we're gonna do. So. Anything else? Anybody? Anywhere? Hi, Kim. Vacancies, Conservation Board, 1. Recreation Commission, 1. Cemetery Committee, 1.
You want me to advertise
Yes, please.
resolution?
Could I get a motion authorizing the clerk to advertise for vacancies on Conservation Board, Recreation Commission, and Cemetery Committee?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
Could you just do one advertisement for all three,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Full
Hang
page.
them up.
Full page, or maybe 2.
Yeah,
Double-sided.
exactly. Let me do 3, 1 on each.
I actually have a volunteer for cemetery, but I'd like it to stay open because I really could use 2.
Oh, yeah.
There was
Okay.
a member in the audience tonight that also is interested, so.
That's the one.
That's
Just,
All right.
I just want to give them the chance
Okay,
to
gotcha.
come and, just finally decide, but yes, that was nice.
Good.
Yes.
Great. Approval of vouchers, general.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Vote aye. Highway,
So moved.
second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye. Continental Village Park District.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye. Continental Village Water District.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
So
Second.
moved.
All in
Second.
favor? Aye.
Great.
Thank you.